Midnight Knox presents The Autopsy of John Doe. The story begins on a stormy night in a city known for its bustling streets and towering skyscrapers. Amidst the chaos, the morgue stands as a cold, silent witness to the unspoken horrors of the city. Tonight, however, it would be the stage for something far more sinister than routine death. Dr. Emily Stevens, a seasoned forensic pathologist, arrives for the night shift, weary but ready for another round of examinations. She has seen countless bodies in her career, each one with a story to tell, yet none have prepared her for the enigma of John Doe. Found in an alley with no identification and no visible signs of trauma, John Doe's presence is an unsolved riddle. Dr. Stevens begins her examination, noting the peculiarities of the body. John Doe appears to be in his mid-30s, with no distinguishing marks or scars. His skin is unusually pale, as if drained of blood. There's an unsettling stillness about him, as if he were more than just dead. He seems untouched by decay. The first strange occurrence happens when she tries to check for a cause of death. The instruments malfunction, the lights flicker, and a cold draft sweeps through the room, despite the lack of windows or ventilation. Dismissing these as coincidences, Dr. Stevens continues her work, unaware that the atmosphere grows increasingly oppressive. As she continues the examination, Dr. Stevens discovers faint symbols on John Doe's chest, barely visible to the naked eye. The symbols are unfamiliar and seem ancient, like something out of an arcane text. She documents them, planning to research their meaning later, but a creeping dread begins to build in the back of her mind. Each time she touches the body, a sharp chill shoots through her fingers, making her skin crawl. She dismisses it as a draft, yet she can't shake the feeling of being watched. The room's temperature drops further, her breath visible in the cold air, creating an eerie mist. During a break, Dr. Stevens finds an old journal left behind by a previous coroner. The journal is filled with notes on various cases, but one entry catches her eye. A case eerily similar to John Doe's, complete with the same mysterious symbols. The entry mentions strange occurrences, unexplained deaths, and a chilling conclusion that the body was cursed. Feeling a mix of skepticism and fear, Dr. Stevens decides to proceed with caution. The journal suggests that the symbols are linked to an ancient ritual meant to trap a malevolent entity within the body. A theory that seems absurd yet strangely plausible given the circumstances. As the autopsy progresses, Dr. Stevens finds no apparent cause of death. The organs are intact, and there's no sign of internal damage or disease. It's as if John Doe simply ceased to exist. The lack of a clear cause is unsettling, leaving her with more questions than answers. Suddenly the power goes out, plunging the room into darkness. The emergency lights flicker on, casting an eerie red glow. Dr. Stevens feels a presence, a heavy, oppressive force pressing down on her. She struggles to breathe, her heartbeat racing as if echoing the fear that grips her. In the dim light, Dr. Stevens notices movement in the room. Shadows dance around her and whispers fill the air, unintelligible but menacing. She realizes that the symbols weren't just decorative, they were a warning. A seal meant to contain something within the body. The journal's warnings come rushing back to her. The entity within the body seeks a new host, a vessel to escape its prison. Panic sets in as she understands that the autopsy has inadvertently begun to release this malevolent force. Desperate to stop it, she tries to recall the symbol's significance and how to restore the seal. As the room grows colder and the whispers intensify, Dr. Stevens fights to maintain her composure. She feverishly searches the journal for a solution, hoping to find a way to reseal the entity. Time is running out, and she feels the presence growing stronger, more tangible. The symbols seem to mock her, their meanings just out of reach. As the pressure builds, she hears a voice, a low, guttural sound that chills her to the bone. It's coming from John Doe, or rather, from the entity within him. The voice speaks of freedom, of revenge, and she realizes that if she fails, it will escape and wreak havoc. In a desperate attempt to stop the entity, Dr. Stevens remembers a phrase from the journal, an incantation that might contain the malevolent force. With trembling hands, She recites the words, her voice growing stronger with each repetition. The temperature plummets, and the room shakes as if resisting her efforts. John Doe's body convulses, and the symbols on his chest glow faintly. The entity's voice rises in a chilling scream, filling the room with a sound that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. Dr. Stevens continues the incantation, her voice the only anchor in the storm of chaos. With a final cry, the room falls silent. The oppressive presence lifts, leaving only an eerie stillness in its wake. Dr. Stevens collapses, exhausted but relieved. The symbols on John Doe's chest have faded completely, and his body lies motionless, as if the struggle had never happened. In the aftermath, Dr. Stevens is left to ponder the events of the night. She knows that few would believe her story, yet the evidence is undeniable. The journal, the symbols, and the chilling experiences have left an indelible mark on her psyche. As she leaves the morgue, the first light of dawn breaks through the storm clouds, casting long shadows. Dr. Stevens can't shake the feeling that something still lingers, an unseen threat lurking just out of sight. The entity may be contained, but the knowledge that such darkness exists in the world leaves her with a lingering sense of unease. She resolves to protect the journal and its secrets, aware that the danger is far from over. The city awakens to another day, blissfully unaware of the horrors hidden in its midst. For Dr. Stevens, however, the night has left a scar, a reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved.
Thank you for watching Midnight Knocks. If you enjoyed our horror stories, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more spine-chilling tales. Don't forget to check out our other videos for more eerie adventures. Until next time, stay spooky.